I can see some people here. Thank you so much for coming. Well, I'm Joyce. I work for Troika, and nowadays I'm based in São Paulo. So while there are some people coming to join us, can you tell me where you're based? Can you tell me where you are now? You can just type your city or country if you're not in Brazil in the chat box, please. Hello, everybody. There are some people coming to join us. Please let me know where you're from, if you are in Brazil or not. I can see some familiar names here. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So, as the other people are coming, I'm going to let you know what we are gonna talk about today. So we are gonna go through the EAP teaching landscape, actually a little about it, because of course there is much to say and to do when it comes to EAP, right? But before we jump into the topic, I would like to ask you a question. Actually, we are gonna ask, I'm gonna ask you some questions, 4 questions to be more precise, during this session. So we are going to explore the topic from the questions that I'm going to ask you, okay? So there are some people coming here. You already have almost 40 people. São Paulo. Peru, wow, nice. Betim, Minas, Itapetininga, sorry. São Paulo, Ribeirão Preto, Rio, Vila Velha, very nice. I love Vila Velha. Ok, Colégio Delta Santana, Glasgow, UK, very nice people. Thank you so much for coming. From Mexico, oh, it's very nice to see all of you here. Thank you very much. Recife, I love Recife as well. Brasília, Curitiba, very nice. Thank you. So, as I told you, I have 4 questions for you today, right? And from these questions, I'm going to try and inspire and maybe give you some ideas that you can take to your own practice. Nova Friburgo, very nice people. São Paulo. It's so nice to see you all here. Thank you very much. I'm sure there are more people coming, but as they all come here, let's start. Let's start with the first question that I have. Actually, the second one, because I asked you where you are from, right? So let me share my screen. But actually, before I share my screen with you, I'm gonna send you this link so that you can access this Mentimeter using your computer if you prefer, right? The link is here. And I'm going to share my screen so you can access this question using your cell phone. Okay, so my question is, are you currently teaching EAP? Yes, I teach in a university. Yes, I teach EAP I teach private lessons, right? Or not yet, but I want to. So can you please just drag the little ball to 100% to represent the situation that is yours right now, okay? Hello, Luiz, welcome. Friburgo, São Paulo. So as you answer the question, by dragging the little ball to 100%, so everybody can see, and we have a picture of who you all are. Welcome, Cristiane. Me too, Gustavo. It's very nice, isn't it? Yes, it's a very nice tool for us to use with our students. And actually, I think it can be used for something that I'm going to discuss with you today. Okay, let's see. Did you have any difficulty accessing the link? Actually, I didn't. Let me put the code here because I didn't show you the code so you can scan the question. Can you see it? Yes, it's here. Mhm. If you're using the cell phone, just scan it. And if you prefer, the link is here. I'm going to post it again for the ones who have just arrived. Okay, Gustavo. Thank you for letting me know. So we have some answers here. Most people don't teach EAP yet, but they want to. That's nice. Some teach EAP private lessons, and some of you already teach EAP in a university. Very nice. Let's just see if someone else is going to answer so we can continue. As I told you, I have some questions for you, and this is my intention to ask more than giving answer, because this session is going to be very open for you to participate. So I really want you to engage with me during this short time that we have together. Okay? So I'm glad to know that most of you don't teach EAP yet, but you want to. because I think that the information that I'm going to share here, that I thought of bringing here to you, is going to help you. I hope so, right? So let me come back so we can continue. Okay, high school counts. It depends on what you do, right? I think, Ellen. Okay. What do you mean by EGP? Okay, so let's continue here. The second question is, why do people enroll in EAP classes? First things first, I think that most of you know that EAP stands for English for Academic Purposes, right? So it's basically English that is needed to study or to conduct research. So as you start a degree at the university, be it undergraduate or graduate courses, you possibly will need English if you are in a foreign country, right? In a country that doesn't have English as its first or second language, right? And of course, if you live in a country which has English as its first or second language, you will use English. You will need, the person will need, sorry, English for different purposes. Okay, so let's take a look at some reasons why people enroll in EAP classes. The first one is because they need to learn a specific terminology of their study field in English, right? I tend to say that English is very important for people in this academic world because they can, in our case, we in Brazil, if we have access to information, to more material, research papers, and different pieces of reading in English, of course, we will expand our possibilities um, to to have more information, to understand much more, or to cite or quote many other people, right? That will be important, that will bring that will bring relevance to our work. Okay. Another reason why they need EAP classes is because they need to read papers independently. This is very common, right? Because when we enter the university, we need to read different kinds of paper or research papers. And if we read in English, we will have much more access to information that maybe is not available in Portuguese, right? Or in another language, Spanish or another ones, right? The next one is because we need to submit a paper to a scientific journal, right? That is not in our country. So, or even in our country, and I mean Brazil, right? There are many journals, important journals that are published in English. So, and many times we need, although we don't need to translate the whole paper, sometimes we need to have the abstract in English as well. And also because they want to present a research work in an international conference, or because they need to pass an English exam to start a graduate degree abroad or in their country. right? This is very common here. Many people, they look for English teachers because they need to pass an exam and they need to take the exam to start the graduate degree. Usually it's English, the first foreign language that we have to choose, but sometimes it's Spanish, sometimes it can be Italian, French. These are the most common languages that university requires us to know, okay, to know how to read and write. So I have another question here for you, which is this. What skills do EAP learners need to develop? And here we are going to spend some more time. And I really want to know what you think about it. What skills do you think that EAP learners need to develop? Can you type here in the chat box? Yes, Alan, MBA. I would say yes. Mhm. Critical reading, yes. Writing skills and spoken speaking skills, skimming, scanning, editing, summarizing, grammar knowledge. What else? Yes, specific jargon like the terminology that I mentioned, lexical, vocabulary, presentation skills. Yes, lexical knowledge. And Maria, that's what most universities here in Brazil require us to know, okay? At least reading. Formal language, register of language, formal language, skills to for research on the internet. Okay, you have said many things that are relevant and many things that I haven't thought of. So thank you very much. Someone is typing, just let's just see what is coming. To understand academic text structure. That is very important, Linda. Thank you. Yes, so before we dive into some examples, I have to agree with you that people have to know or develop the 4 language skills, of course. Okay, although some of them are more used or might be more used than others. And also sub skills. You have mentioned many of them. Analytical thinking for academic IELTS. Perfect, Gustavo. Yes. So I have 2 activities here that I would like you to take a look and try to analyze it and tell me which skills and sub skills do you think they bring. Let's see the first one. Here is an activity. All of them actually are activities that I did with my students, okay, at the university. And this is one in which they had to analyze this abstract. We were in a project about academic literacy, and they had observed different types of abstracts before. They had learned about verbs or tenses and aspects that are very common, okay, in academic language. So they had some previous knowledge about it. And in this activity, they had to analyze this abstract and then discuss the questions. What is the main idea of the abstract? Does it provide the reader with any example? Does it show any evidence or data to support its idea? Does it show the methods used to conduct the research? What's the text conclusion on the topic and what kind of language is used? So here they had to mention register or anything else that they could observe. What do you think that these students needed or any student would need to develop in terms of skills and sub-skills in this activity? You can just type here so I can mention them. What is the first thing that you think that they should do or develop? Reading and comprehension, yes. Scanning, understand vocabulary. A reading strategy, get the gist of it, go to question, target where the answer is, etc. Double read the abstract before answering to make sure of understanding, analyzing in different levels the text, going deeper, which is a very tiring activity sometimes, right? Because it requires a lot of concentration, especially if the text is longer. I also think the best idea would be to scan, also infer vocabulary on context if needed, no evidence data, no figures at all, be aware of keywords. Hello, Neuza. Okay, very nice. You have mentioned very interesting skills and sub-skills. Very nice. Then let's see the next one. So I have this other activity from another class, okay, but it's still in the same project. We had this situation in which a professor has asked students to help some of his students or her students with advice on how to write an abstract. Here, I really wanted to put students in a situation in which they would be useful to help others, okay? How to write an abstract. So they should give these people some practical ideas so that they can write their own abstract to submit to a scientific conference at their university. What else? What advice would you give them? Yes, William, exchanging ideas in the last one, and here as well, right? Because they had to think about the situation and share some ideas with the group. And here, as a teaching note, allow students some time to think and write ideas in the chat box. This was done online, but of course can be adapted to face-to-face lessons, right? Um, Check abstract genre, identifying conclusions. What else? What else? What other skills and sub-skills do you think that students developed here? How to identify what is really important, like selecting information, would would be that, Carlos? Not only language skills, but also teamwork, protagonismo. Yes, I totally agree with you, Linda. Protagonism. If they know what are the main divisions of an abstract, like the structure of an abstract, they know how to do it. And Marcia, this is interesting. They had learned about it in the previous lesson. So this was kind of a follow-up activity or task as they were learning how to write an abstract, okay? Contextualization, objective, method, results, conclusion. Very nice. So you were telling me that these people, they were practicing or developing reading because they had to understand the situation, teamwork because they had to discuss, share ideas with their groups on how to help other people to write an abstract, selecting main information, like someone said before. Okay, so very interesting sub-skills here. All right, so I separated some here that maybe you haven't thought of. Maybe yes, maybe no, but let's see. Gustavo says, I attended a congress in SciComm where they asked for a 150 word informal abstract. It can be a good exercise. Of course, totally agree. Science communication. So here are some of the sub-skills that we as students can practice, can develop, and we as teachers can encourage people to learn. Okay, so identifying text organization or selection of information, like you said, skimming and scanning, like you said before, intensive reading, okay, like picking very important facts in the text, details, understanding main ideas, which is very relevant in this academic context, because many times we don't read a whole book or a whole article because we have to use information from these materials to write something else or to mention in a conference, to prepare a presentation. So we have to understand the main ideas many times, right? Proofreading, which is really important, especially for us who publish papers. And it's very important that we proofread the paper before it is published. Read for details, someone mentioned this. Deducing meaning from context, okay? And each work will have a different context, so it's important to understand context and the meaning that we can infer from that. When we talk about reading, right, and mentioning writing, note taking is a very important sub skill as we are reading something. Okay, many times we have to take notes. I am this kind of reader who always takes notes besides the text. Okay, so it's something that we have to do all the time. Summarizing, paraphrasing key points, editing, especially here today with this um, Google Google Docs that we use a lot, okay, and other tools that we use to edit and produce texts. Writing assignments and referencing people, okay, quoting, citing how to do this or that, so that the text has this academic rigor. Okay, so there are these sub skills under reading and writing, and you have mentioned many others which are very important for us to include in this list. Okay, now let's see if you can identify some of these skills and sub skills in this next task. Okay, still in the same project. Um, I brought, I took actually this activity to my students. So now you are in the scientific committee of the conference that will take place at your university. So read the abstract below and decide if it should be approved or not to be presented in one of the round tables of the event. Justify your choice. As you can see, the tasks, they are very contextualized to the reality of academic students. Of course, they have to participate in events. Many times they participate in the scientific committee of a conference or of a journal. Okay, so these were students, masters and doctorate students who needed English to perform these tests. Okay, so that is why I brought this situation. So they had to read this abstract, and I brought an abstract from the internet that had some mistakes, some linguistics mistakes, that had some parts missing of what is expected to see in an abstract, so that students would talk to a partner and decide if they would accept this abstract or not and why. So they should also give suggestions, right? Based on that. Can you tell me? Yes, Ellen, it's a kind of role play, right? Can you tell me which skills and sub skills that we have mentioned before can you see? What do you think that they would need after analyzing this abstract? Any ideas? As I see here, of course, they would need to read, and after reading it, they would maybe they would understand some mistakes or not, okay, depending on the level of proficiency of these students. So there are a lot of mistakes, and the method is not so clear. And Ícaro, the most important thing here was actually not picking the mistakes, okay? Because some of them were able to identify the mistakes, but some of them were not, okay? So this counted, of course, but you mentioned something very important here, which was the method. Method was not so clear. So it was one of the parts of the abstract that they should pay attention to. So well done. Consistency on how the numbers are written. Very nice, Adriana. A few problems, but the text doesn't flow, lacks cohesion. I think I understood the experience, but the writing is not clear. Corrections, a lot of mistakes, just some of them. I'd accept with corrections. Me too, Renata, I think so. That's the key point. The method is not so clear. And most of them accepted with necessary corrections. So they understood that the proposal was not very clear. There were some parts lacking, so they understood that the person or the group of authors should have another chance. So they gave some suggestions, right? Yes, nice, Gustavo. So for us to move on, there is this next activity that they had. It was actually one of the last tasks that they had to perform, to do in the project, because after everything, after knowing how to write an abstract, the parts of an abstract that should, the parts that an abstract should have, then I encouraged them to write one of these parts. So what kind of information should we put in the introduction? How should we write the goal or the goals of in an abstract? Methods, finding results, how do we communicate these things, and how to conclude and how to recommend something for further research. So they had to choose one of these parts and write. They had a limit, okay, of words. Some of them asked, Teacher Joyce, can I please let me write a little more? And I said, okay, but not many words, because of course, when we write to a journal, for example, there is the limit of words that we should follow, or you will have to go back and erase some words. And for me, this is very difficult. So try to keep the 50 words in mind. And they had to do it. And something that I asked them to do was to use a work of them as a reference, okay? And I think it was nice because they could relate the activity that they had to do with what they were doing at their knowledge field, okay? So it was very nice. Well, all of this to let me go back here, because we still have listening and speaking, which are also part of the academic teaching and learning, right? In listening, we also intensively have to pick information, right? So we have intensive listening as we listen to a podcast, as we listen to a lecture, okay, online or face to face. Understanding the main idea of lectures, listening for detail, okay, deducing meaning from context, from whatever they have to listen to. In speaking, they have to present research results in events that they have to attend. Taking part in discussions. This is very common in an academic, in the life of an academic student. Okay, whether they agree or not, and forming ideas as well. If they want to just comment on something that they would like to. Okay, so they have to know how to select the best information to contribute and referencing, of course. So as an example for these, I have this activity in which they had to, we were in another project, we were studying about women in STEM, and we watched a video called "What are the main challenges women in STEM are facing right now?" So they had to watch the video and take notes, just take notes, whatever they wanted to. After that, they had to discuss their notes with a partner to see what they understood from the video, and then watch the video again and answer the questions which were in this form, okay, in Google Forms. It was very nice because here in Brazil, talking to the people who are not from Brazil, here in Brazil, it's very common to listen to students say, but this is very difficult. I don't understand anything. These people speak so fast. Okay. And I said, okay, let's try. Let's just try. You can do it. Let's go. So they had to take notes, and then we would watch the video again and use all the information that they had written to answer the questions and also share what they had answered, right? All of this to show to you or to reinforce this idea that for me is very important, which is EAP programs, university programs, or private lessons programs. They should be tailored to meet learners' particular needs. I don't know about you. I don't know about especially you who already teach EAP, but it's very common to see at the university, for example, they come to you with a syllabus which is usually based on grammar and vocabulary activities in an isolated way. Okay, this is very common. But I think that this all happens just because the course, the programs, they are not tailored to meet learners' needs, right? So here, the idea is that we pay attention to what the students really need so that we can teach that, because just one size doesn't fit all, okay? And I really liked this image because it's just that. Not all people will fit this suit, right? When it's ready. And the same way, in my case, I had, when I was teaching at the university, I had students from different programs. Yes. I had students from engineering, cognition and language, veterinarian, and many other courses. And how to pay attention to their needs in this situation. Well, in that case, it was a bit complex because students came from different areas, different fields. So what I was paying attention to was what they need to do as academic students. So that is why you saw these kinds of activities, whether they are engineering students, whether they are language and cognition students, veterinarian students, they all had to present at conferences, read academic papers, prepare abstracts. So that is what we focused on in that case. But it's very possible uh, to focus on the kind of vocabulary or lexis or situations that students need to uh, go through, okay, and then prepare lessons for them. So I was telling you about this particular needs, and this reminds me of needs analysis, which is super relevant in the academic world, okay, teaching world. If we teach academic students English as for academic purposes, then we should start by needs analysis, right? How? What kind of questions can we ask? Mainly questions that don't require yes or no answers. I think this is first one, uh, first one information, right? So some possible questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you here? Why do you need an English lesson focused on your degree? Okay, why are you doing this now, at this moment? How will the lessons help you achieve your goals? Okay, so if you're telling you why they are doing this, then they are telling that they have specific goals, right? For example, they need to participate in a conference, they will present a work there, so they want to improve their speaking skills, their presentation skills. So, how will the lessons help them? How will this knowledge help you to study more effectively on your degree? Okay, they will give me um, more knowledge to look for references that I don't know yet. Just an example. Okay, so that is very important, as I said, because from needs analysis, we can design a whole course that will be really relevant for them. Okay, so we can stem from needs analysis and then design a syllabus that is really what they need. Okay, then develop the kinds of materials that will uh, uh, help you impact their academic life. Then you can adapt the kind of methodology and pedagogy that you use, because you can be an EFL teacher, a teacher who works with general English and then have academic students. So, of course, you have to adapt how you will teach these people and then assess. Of course, assessment doesn't need to come at the end of the program, and this is a discussion that deserves more time. Okay, so As you can see, needs analysis is like the start, the beginning of everything, because from that you can develop the syllabus, materials, adapt methodology and pedagogy, and assess your students. Okay? All of these contribute to help us understand the difference between EAP and EFL. Of course, EFL is kind of an umbrella that covers EAP, right? And general English, but I like to think of EFL here because here in Brazil, I don't know what it works like in different countries, in other countries, but here in Brazil, we have many courses that teach English as for nebulous purposes, like Michael Long mentions, and I learned with a friend, uh, Leo Gomes. He says, I mean, Michael Long says that general English is also called English for nebulous purposes because it doesn't have a specific purpose, right? But it would be here in Brazil, sorry, we have courses and schools that teach English with general purposes, right? So that is why general English. And here I use EAP and EFL, meaning general English, okay? So one of the differences that we can see is that in EAP, people learn academic English. So learners, they have this specific context, okay? And in EFL, people learn general English for different purposes, and we have a same course for different learners. For example, we can have seniors and teenagers in the same classes, discussing general topics, okay, which is not bad, right? Just different. In EAP, we have this development of a wide range of sub-skills as learners build each of the 4 skills, just like I showed you, while in EFL, the focus is on language skills, okay? So they learn more grammar, vocabulary, and other sub-skills as well, but that might not be as interesting for EAP students as it is for them, okay? Another difference is that in EAP, we learn a lot of lexis related to the academic context, okay? While in EFL, there is this lack of specialized vocabulary because the focus is more broad, okay, not so specific. And writing, for example, is seen as a process in EAP, while it is seen as a product in EFL. Okay, why a process in EAP? Because this is something that academic students, they have to do a lot. So we learn how to write and we continue writing the whole academic life. Okay, writing is part of our lives as academic students, as academic people, right? And many times writing can be forgotten after the tasks are done, okay, in EFL classes. Now look at this picture. What do you think we can infer? What can you infer from this picture? Why do you think that I brought this picture here? Based on everything that we have talked about. You can just type some ideas here, please. Different strokes for different blocks. Nice. The goal is the same, but the content is based on the person. Good. EAP students have short time to become fluent. I totally agree, Carlos, with you. Especially because they usually study for one semester and then quit. Okay, in many cases, this is not a rule, of course. Mhm. Interesting, Adelia. Very nice. Yes, so like you said, as Gustavo said too, yes, we have different needles, different colors of threads. Okay, so that is exactly what should happen in our academic lessons, right? As we have these differences, diversity in the classroom, then we should try to accommodate all of them in our syllabus, in our course design, okay, so that our students' needs would be uh, would not be ignored. I think this is important to say. Okay, but specific needs require customized teaching. All of these needles and threads, they will be used to make or to tailor different suits. Okay, or although they are different, the colors of the threads, they will be used to tailor one suit. Okay, so many things can be inferred here, but the most important thing here is that uh, our students' needs are considered so that we can design interesting materials, so that our pedagogy can be really adapted to their needs, okay, to observe and bring what they really need, and we can prepare tasks that are meaningful for them, and also all of this will be or will impact the kind of feedback that we give our learners. Okay, well, that's that seems to be too much too much information, but I hope I have given you some food for thought. Okay, and I would like to know, as my last question for you, what are some takeaways that you can take from this session, right? So you can scan this code, and I can share the link here as well if you prefer. Let me just copy it here. The link is here, so please just access this link so you can type just one word, and we are going to make a word cloud with your takeaways, right? It's here. The link is here, Anna. Can you see it? I'm gonna copy it again. Let me share my screen with you so we can see the word cloud. Meet students' needs, focus on students' needs analysis, customize, design a course, different needs. Yes, if you don't remember anything else, from this presentation, please remember this, that we should really pay attention to our students' needs so that we can design courses that are relevant for them, right? Um, okay, very nice. Goals. All right. And then let me just wrap up here with some useful links, okay, that I used to prepare this presentation. If you want to take a screenshot. Thank you very much. If you want to reach me out, you can find me on Instagram. This is my personal page. And also Redesign is my page to talk about academic stuff, okay? I always post something about academic English and stuff there, so you're more than welcome. Thank you very much for coming.